Okay, so we've been working on division, and that's not a new idea for you. And then we have these two-digit divisors, and that's been kind of the new fifth grade thing. Now we're going to bring in another new fifth grade thing, and that is, what if the number we have to divide up is a decimal number? It has, a whole part and a fractional part. Well, we're just going to use digit by digit here, and I'm going to show you a very big trick. Here's the first thing you're going to do when you have a decimal that you need to divide. You see that decimal in there, 36 and 41 hundredths? We're going to take that decimal, boop, boop, boop. We're going to put it up on the quotient line. That's a messy decimal, but you get the idea. And now we're just going to divide it out like we would any other number. So let's see how that goes. 5 can't go into 3, but it can go into 36. I know 5 times 7 is 35. I'm not going to get closer than that. And that leaves me with 1 left over. Digit by digit says, hey, time to bring down that next digit. How many 5s can I get out of 14? I can't get 3 because 3 groups of 5 is 15, so it's going to have to be 2. 2 groups of 5 means I've taken 10 out and grouped it. Leaves me with 4. Now it's time to bring down that last digit. How many groups of 5 can I make out of 41? Well, again, I know my math facts. I know 8 groups of 5 is 40. I can't get closer than that. And so here I am with 1 left over. Now, here's the next part. You can't have a R remainder or a fractional remainder when you have a decimal number in the quotient because, hey man, the decimal is the remainder. So watch this. We're going to just do some equivalency. 41 hundredths is the same as 410 thousandths. I can bring in a place value 0 without changing the value of the number, and I can use that to drop down. Hey, and this is easy peasy. How many 5s are in 10? 2, just like always. And now I have divided out everything. So how many groups of 5 can I make out of 36 and 41 hundredths? I can make 7 and 282 thousandths. That's the two little tricks here. One, you got to remember to bring up the decimal before you start that digit by digit, and you have to use some 0 placeholders if you still have a quote-unquote remainder to try and divide that out until everything's divided out into whatever fraction you end up with, even if it's a crazy small one like 282 thousandths. All right, let's kick it up a notch. I hope you're trying these problems. I hope you've got pencil and paper out. I hope you're pausing to see what you can do. If all you do is watch me, well, I've done all the work and I get all the benefit. If you work along, if you pause and try things on your own and then fix them and think about it, you get the benefit. And I'm going to tell you, secret, the benefit's supposed to go to you right now. So do the work with me. Pause and get paper and pencil if you don't have it. All right, let's get this party started. I've got this small number compared to my dividend, 5 and 76 hundredths, that I want to see how many groups of 16 can I make out of that. And you might be thinking, lady, you can't make any groups of 16. And you're right, I can't make any whole groups, but I can make a fraction of a group of 16. And we're going to do exactly the same thing we did in the last problem. We're going to start by bringing the decimal up to the quotient, and we're not going to worry about that decimal for a little while. I got 16 here, and I don't know my 16s, but if I round up to the nearest 10, I do know my 2s, therefore I know my 20s. So I'm going to set up a little estimation chart. I don't know how important it is for this one. If you've got another strategy you're using, then that is 100% okay. All right, I can't make any groups of 16 out of this 5, but I can out of this fake 57 that we have here. How many? well, maybe 3. I see 3 groups of 20 is 60, and it seems too big, but remember our real number is 16, and that's a little less than that 20 that we're estimating with. So I'm going to try 3. If it's too much, I can always go down to 2, but I got a good feeling about it. 6, 12, 18, carry the 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. 48, that's going to work. I can't go higher for sure because even 10 more would be more than 57. So I'm going to take that out, and that leaves me with 9. And you can always do that work on the side I just counted up in my head. And I'm going to bring down the next digit so that I can start dividing some more. How many groups of 16 can I make out of this 96? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm estimating gets me to 80. I almost want to try 5 because, again, 16 is actually a quite a bit smaller than that 20. Maybe it'll be too much. Let's give it a shot and see what happens. 5 groups of 6 is 30. Carry the 3. Oh, I think 5 might not be enough. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8. I don't think so, because guess what? 80 plus 16 more, which would be 6 groups. Hey, that's 96. That's what I'm looking for. That takes care of that business. I don't need any placeholder zeros here because this one tells me, well, how many groups of 16 can I make out of 5 and 76 hundredths? I can only make 36 hundredths of a group, a fraction of a group, a little more than 1/3. And there you go. That's how this rolls. I like it. Okay, well, last one is one of the story problems. And these problems are all on our homework 5-6. So this should give you a little bit of a head start there too. So we have this problem. Farmer Sanchez has 1,408 and 86 hundredths acres of land. He will divide it into 27 equal fields for spring planting. How many acres will be in each field? Great question. All right, so we're making groups of 27 out of this decimal number. Everything we're going to do is stuff we've done before. So first, what do we do with that decimal again? So that we can just forget about it, at least for now. We just defy gravity and bring it on up to the quotient line. Now 27, I can't count by 27s. This is too hard. No, you're okay. Remember, we round and we estimate. We make a little chart. We have a number for thinking. So 27 rounded to the nearest 10. Yep, that's 30. And if you know your 3's, then you know your 30's. And if you don't know your 3's, then it might be time to learn. Times 10 times 10 all the way up. And that little estimation chart gives me a visual so that I don't get off track. Now, this is a big problem, and I really want to remember to use my actual dividend or my actual divisor of 27 when I'm calculating my number. So I'm going to set up a couple problems, just start them out so that I don't accidentally use that 30 in my math. I just use it in my head. All right, I think we've got everything set. Let's see what happens. Can we make any groups of 27 out of 1? Don't be silly. How about 14? Of course not. How about 140? Sure. I don't know how many. Let's use that 30 to think about it. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. Because 27 is a little less than 30, so I've got a little wiggle room there. I'm going to try 5, and if it's too much, I'll try 4. When you know your math facts, this part, it's okay to spend a little bit of time there because it's pretty quick. Yep, I can't get any closer than that. I can get 5 groups of 27 or 135 out of that 140, and that leaves me with 5. Definitely no more groups of 27 there, and that means it's time to bring down that next digit. How many groups of 58 can I get out of 27? Well, I want to say maybe 2, but let's see. 7, 14, carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Yep, it looks like 2. And 2 groups means I can take 54 out of that 58. And that leaves me with 4. Now, the pattern stays the same, digit by digit. I bring down the next digit, 48. Well, how many groups can I make out of that? Only one, because I already know that 2 groups of 27 is 54, which is too much. I'm going to run out of space because I'm making these big giant numbers. Let's see if I can squish it up a little bit. That leaves me with 21. Sorry about the funky 2. Can't make any groups of 27 there. Time to bring down that last digit, 216. Well, let's use our estimation chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8, but I'm going to try 7. Well, maybe I'll try 8 first. I usually try the higher number because I can see for sure if it's too much or not. 8 times 7 is 56, carry the 5. 8 times 2 is 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Ha-ha! It paid off for me this time because it turns out it is exactly 8 groups. And again, I won't have to use that place value 0 to bring down because there's nothing left to divide up. So how many acres will be in each field? 52 and 1800ths acres per field would be that complete answer. That was one of the more challenging problems on the homework. So keep in mind things you want to do here. You want to bring up the decimal. You want to divide as usual. And you want to use a place value 0 if, big if, you seem to have a remainder. Now, I'll tell you what you can do here. The cool thing about these problems is since there's no fractional remainders or any of that business, a calculator will 100% check your problem for you and tell you exactly the kind of work you're supposed to have. So I'm going to add check with a calculator. I know this is messy. And don't be afraid to re-watch one of these problems in the tutorial to get yourself on track. You can do this thing.